and welcome to the fantastic city of Las Vegas in Nevada, USA for the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. It's the entertainment capital of the world, giving home to curling yet again, but a first ever World Championship for what many call America's playground. And what better setting is there to host the world's best curling players? It's time for the evening draw in the Orleans Arena. And we'll get started just before the sun sets over the Mojave Desert. Teams making their way into the arena for this evening draw. It's Sweden playing Norway in session 11. My name is Sander Ulvåg and I'm joined by our first-rate curling expert, Alison Kraviasik. Good evening.
Good evening, Sander.
Well, this should be a good one. Norway-Sweden, a friendly battle, of course, to neighbouring countries. So many good games we've seen between them up through the years, but there'll be a new take on it with the new team of Norway. We saw them last year in Edmonton, but they're back again, edging out Ulster at home. But Edin, of course, representing Sweden now for many years. Excited about this one, Alison?
Absolutely. At the lead position, we have Christopher Sundgren. At second, we have Rasmus Vrano. At third, we have Oscar Eriksson. And the skip for Team Sweden is Niklas Edin.
Yeah, quite a few familiar faces there, of course. And we're getting more familiar with Norway as well. At lead, Magnus Vågberg. At second stones, we have Magnus Nedregotten. At third and vice skip for Team Norway is Markus Høiberg. And for a second year in a row, Norway's skipped by Steffen Walstad. Let's just take a tiny look at the teams shaking hands before this draw gets underway. We have some Swedish fans up there, unmistakably.
They stick out quite well.
And that's the standings and how the teams stack up so far. Sweden ahead of everyone at 6 wins. Norway closely follows at 5-1 alongside Canada and Scotland. So it's already starting to take form here. While you take a closer look further down, you have teams like Italy, Germany, Netherlands and USA not quite coping yet, and there'll be must-wins for them in the next couple of draws. As we see the other games in Orleans Arena this evening, it's Switzerland taking on Korea. China will play Italy. Of course, our focus will be on Sweden, Norway, but also Germany and Russia is taking place. We'll keep you up to date on what happens elsewhere as we go through our 10 ends of curling fun. It's a very relaxed atmosphere in the arena this evening, and especially between these two teams. They know each other quite well on a personal level and a professional level. It's something to get riled up about.
Absolutely. This is going to be a fantastic game. Both teams are pretty evenly matched. One position that's got a little bit of a difference right now is at the skip position. Niklas Edin shooting an outstanding 91% average right now, and Stefan still second at the top, but 85%. So he's going to need to step up a little bit to get to the same level as the Olympic silver medalist here, Niklas Edin.
Yeah, quite a record Edin has built himself up to have. Could be one of the best curlers in curling history, really. It's on good way to get there, really. And of course, Steffen Walstad, a little bit of a new face to curling fans, but he's led a good Norwegian side for a couple of years now, doing well on the tour. Placed 8th in Edmonton last year, but so far looking a lot stronger. We'll expect them to see them at least in the top 6 to get to the playoffs, but they'll be hoping to catch one of those top 2 spots. The same for Sweden, as we see Norway will play Yellowstones, and they will throw the first one. Sweden winning the draw shot challenge in pre-game practice. So Magnus Vågberg throws the first stone, 22 years of age. He says he's curled for 4 years, but I know he's he curled a bit more than that.
Has he?
Well,
sneaky.
He curled as a youth, well, say a young kid. Left the sport for many years, came back 4 years ago. was a little rusty. You might call him a diamond in the rough, but he's a very athletic guy and has been putting a lot of effort into the last 4 years, and that's why he's been picked up by this Norwegian side. Talking about getting picked up, Kristoffer Sundgren, of course, a part of Edin's new team, although they're not that new anymore, are they, Alison?
No, they've been together for definitely the past Olympic cycle. So in 2010, Niklas Edin had a different lineup, one of which one of his players is on the coach bench right now. But definitely they've had a few seasons in there together. 4 seasons of hard work, lots of training.
If I remember correctly, Edin went, what, 4th place in 2010, bronze 2014, and then silver this year. And if you're shooting for the Olympics in 4 years, you would think he would pick up gold, wouldn't you?
Well, it was a tight match. But slipped away a little bit.
Well, maybe just gives him something to look forward to and work on for the next 4 years. We love to see Edin, of course. And we expect to see some rocks in play here. Both these teams very happy to keep stones in play. Slight pickup from Norwegian lead Vågberg, leaving the draw short, so 2 center guards. Important for Sundgren to just put this top of the tee line, and that is pretty perfect there, taking control of the house early. Here is second player for Norway, Magnus Nedregotten. He was also playing at the Olympic Games in the inaugural mixed doubles competition, picked up bronze for this mixed doubles partner in life, as I've called it now, fiancé. So obviously a busy season for both the Edin team and Nedregotten alike. The Olympic Games, and not much time in between that and coming here.
No, it is a tight turnaround indeed.
We'll have our first look at the newest acquisition for Sweden, Rasmus Vrano.
23 years old. Started on the team in 2017.
I believe old second Christian Lindström had an injury.
Yeah, he had a shoulder injury. So called up Rasmus, and he was able to fill in, and I think he's made a fantastic substitute.
Yeah, they've certainly done quite well. So you take a quick peek at the rules of play. 6 ends minimum in the round robin, 10 ends scheduled. But it's 38 minutes of thinking time for the teams and 160-second timeout. Already a bit of a clutter up front here. So try and tidy up here, run the long center guard back onto that yellow guard tight to the house on the left, and then onto the red is the plan for the former Alpine skier. 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
Quite a start to the game for the Norwegian second. That last stone just spitting out of the house.
Dryg normal. Det en dryg fot emellan dem. Lite utsida bara.
Well, we talked about a busy schedule, but the Swedish side certainly just well, they had to play the Swedish National Championship just before coming here.
They did. Then they had the Grand Slam event right before that as well. So they have been, I believe they had 1 day at home after the Grand Slam, went up to the national championships, and then have come straight here to Las Vegas. So not much downtime for them.
Are they also playing an event closely after this?
Yes, I do believe the Players' Championships Grand Slam starts right after this.
Pretty back-to-back for Sweden. This is Marcus Höjberg, also at the Olympic Games. He was an alternate for that Hulsrud team we all know so well. Just looking to split the rings here, pretty much, but that on the side of the forefoot.
So looking to angle this rock in. So if you're a little thick, you might be able to catch the other one.
I don't think we'll see this call from many teams, as Oskar Eriksson, third for Sweden. Just very thin run back. It's a brave call. Doesn't catch the yellow stone on the 12 foot, but gets the short stone. So happy enough with that. But for the time being, Norway looking good to maybe get the force from Sweden.
10-5, 10, litt opp, 10-5, ren, ren, ja, hardt, spill, 10-6, 10-6, det litt dra bakom, ja, gjelder den bättre, jag kan tänka mig att dra, ja, till och med bakåt, okej.
Certainly not afraid to get the offense going here. I'll ignore that Yellowstone fully. Come straight around those corner guards.
Gott om plats just nu, men kommer mycket Niklas. 10, är med. 10, ja. Bara fart. Är förbi. Lite bakom 10. Bak 4. Krippa av mig i slutet efter den. Bakom 10. Nej, det gör den inte.
This one looks great. Slipping a little bit behind the tee line. So it does give Norway a chance to come down to the stone, but do believe it's fully buried.
Jag fick hogg på 13-7. Jag kommer ihåg bra det kan stämma, men får höra vad han skriver. Det är väldigt bra, för så du har hånda med satt där. För jag fryser 2/3 på insidan där. Ja, hade du splitt vann? Så 13-7 och 13-60, det var det jag fick.
So they all agree they had 13.7 on the hog-to-hog split for that draw from Edin. Just pretty much there on its own.
Seems to be pretty consistent with what the ice has been like the whole week.
Yeah, I think so. Does tend to quicken up a little bit after a couple of ends. And here is Stefan Wallstad, skip of Norway. So they just look to follow. And the thing though, you play that path once, it might just quicken up for the next rock. Sweepers working this one. Getting a little tight to that Yellowstone in the 12 foot. Is it by? Just gets a tiny rub. It's close for weight.
As you can see, the guys are giving it all they have, try and get that by, but just nicks it.
That's over 400 pounds of muscle working that rock.
They can't get it by. I think you threw it a bit tight.
Well, it does end up in a spot where it's a bit of a nuisance for Sweden.
Är det nog först i 4-fotkanten så här? Det gick jävligt bra. Lite grann kan det vara, men inte så farligt. Det gick bra. Kommer lite ner här.
So we'll be looking for just a hit and roll underneath cover.
Niklas Edin, skip of Sweden. two-time world champion, world junior champion, 6 times European champion. He's been adding a lot.
It's a pretty impressive resume. Is he by?
Well, just by, but rolls a bit too far. But sits for, well, I'm not even sure who's first here, but definitely for 3rd shot. Which means Norway needs to be a little bit careful, need to get all the way down there. Yeah. Quick peek at the slash double on the reds. Thinking it's probably all too thin, a little too difficult. Seems to make sense to just play the same shot.
Absolutely. Even if he's a hair heavy, as long as he gets the line, it's okay if he taps it just a little bit. He'll be line 2. As long as you stay on the high side of the stone, make sure that there's no cross the house double for Niklas Edin to be able to get at.
And you know we don't want to leave any shots like that for Edin. Watch the same draw. Should have a good guess here, the sweepers as well. But it could be just a tiny bit quicker. They did sweep this coast to coast on the first one. Don't mind a tiny bump on the red if they have the line here. Looking pretty good coming down. And indeed gets a tiny rub and sits corner frozen. Pretty perfect from Team Norway.
Absolutely. I believe Sweden will just look to get their one. Just needs full forfeit.
Well, we'll have to play a different path.
Det går inte att dra riktigt mot knappen, men det här är ju förmodligen ganska lite spelat spår. De andra har gått liksom hjälplinan och mitt 4-fot liksom. Lite låda upp med lite aktiv liksom. Ja, det borde vara lite tajt hållet.
Discussing the weight.
Yeah, very important information to be able to pass that along to skipper and communicate back and forth on what they think the path is going to be doing.
So this is the last stone of this first end for Sweden, facing what we believe is maybe 2 Norwegian counters. Bit of a new path, bit of a guess for Edin. The sweeper's looking pretty happy with this one, and that will settle nicely in the forfeit. Looked very much in control there. That is 1 point for Sweden after a pretty fun end. We'll hope to get 9 more here in the Orleans Arena.
Ganska rejält aktiv 80 det där.
Nej, ingenting. Det gick som han också igen bägge vägar. Jag tror det. Vi hade lycka på tidigare vi. Ja. Bra.
Ja, det var också.
Bra.
Kanskje legge en til innan corner.
Så kanskje blir i sterkere på Altam, og så spilte forkant med jævlig med Altam.
Second end of the Sweden-Norway game is underway. Kristoffer Sundgren is throwing this first stone. We're forced to score one in the first end.
Bra linje fortfarande. 14-7. Bra linje. Oskar har det. Bra. Fint. Linja bra. 2. 2,5. 3.
Norway looking to put up a corner guard. Generate a little offense this end.
The classic setup for a curling end. Not too many variations on how a curling end starts, but from there it's, you know, it could be anything.
Anything possible, yeah.
That's the fun part about curling. You can have a skip that's played for 30 years and
still scratch their head.
Yeah. Pretty good setup by Sundgren as we just jump on over to China, Italy. It is Amos Mozaner. And the last one looks to be an open hit to score 2 for Italy to get off to a good start. Just some light dusting will make the hit and stick. 2 points for Italy. 2-0 after one end there. And also jumping over to Germany, Russia. Germany with last stone, also looking for a nose hit, but this is just for the one. Alexander Baumann. Got Ryan Sherrard and Manuel Walter on the sweep. Not using them here though. Will that curl enough to get to nose? Ooh. Looks like it's just enough for Germany. They're up 1-0 after one end.
That was close.
Back in our sheet, we saw Norway come around the corner guard, which was attempted to be run back. Didn't catch the stone in the back. And now Norway making a play on the center guard. This is a hit and roll. Looks to be. Trying to roll that to the right and leave it as a corner. But it just rolls too far.
Yeah, it was a great control weight that they threw at that. Just didn't quite curl up enough. So despite missing the run back on his first, Rasmus will get an attempt at catching this yellow stone.
This is a familiar face, Alison.
It is. Munching away on snacks back there. Fredrik Lindberg, coach for Team Sweden.
And like you mentioned earlier, a long-time teammate, second player for Edin.
Picked up a bronze medal at the Olympics in Sochi.
Is that how Edin likes to have his team? Just lots of people that know each other really well?
Yeah, I mean, they are very close.
Talking about close,
yep.
Thomas Lövel, he's been not just coaching for a little bit of a while now, but he's played with 3/4 of the starting lineup for Norway today in all various kinds of teams up through the years. He's now national coach of Norway. He's also the 5th man for the Ulsrud team when they picked up silver at the 2010 Winter Olympic Games in Vancouver. Trying to bring some structure to Norwegian curling.
Doing a great job.
Oh, big weight from Høiberg. See if he can lift this double here on the Reds. Or even just roll corner frozen. That works too.
Really good result. Not really much of an option here, so Oscar's just going to look to peel this out. Going to lose a shooter in the process, but Norwegian stone was made pretty perfect, so not much you can do.
Well, that's kind of the danger. These two teams are playing big up-weight abilities, so even if they set off for an aggressive end, if they both end up wanting to bail out, and all of a sudden there's a blank end in play.
The millions of rocks in play, and then all of a sudden, 2 shots later, there's none.
So looking like Norway will try and retain their last stone advantage by blanking, meaning no score, no stones in the house. We'll try again in the third. First, a couple of shots needs to be made. Well, we kind of expect these players to at least make an open hit. Slight error from Edin rolling out, but doesn't make too much of a difference. Just allows Stefan Wallstad to try a new path with a draw. I don't think you mind playing a free draw here and there if you're a skip, do you?
No, it's great practice, and again, it gives you the chance to get your feel when it's a non-pressure situation. Even when you're throwing in a new path, then you get an idea of what the difference is. Each team, again, they got the 9-minute practice before the game began. So they are able to see what the fastest paths are like on the sheet and do a little bit of a comparison.
One slips to the back 12. Probably not a bad thing, just means it's a shorter way to roll out on your next one. You're expecting Norway to set this red stone and roll out. And you won't have to roll far. Last stone. The second end, Stefan Wallstad just looking for the peel and the blank. Keep that hammer. And that shot is made. So the score is still 1-0 for Sweden over Norway here in Las Vegas.
Så har du vel et ekstra hode i kosebagen. Er det noen av dere som gidder å spørre dere? Gå i kosedagen og se om vi finner et sånn e-hode. Flate.
It's close. We're down with one. With hammer. So.
Nei, det var ikke det. Det er småheten å svare opp
Even so far.
Ja, faen.
And Swedish people are always at these curling events, that's for sure. And then they're pretty easy to spot. That yellow and turquoise color really stands out.
Yeah, well, a lot of their the boys' families were making the special trip over here to Las Vegas. It's definitely an event they did not want to miss. As well with the boys, the Swedish Curling Academy has also joined. So they're here in the stands as well.
It's not a bad field trip.
You know, they did a little truck tour to see what goes on behind the scenes here at the World Championship.
6. Okay. 7, 8. Hvor er han? 8, 7. Da han bare sitter, tror jeg.
Setter seg på T-line.
Ok, han sitter.
Just a hair too deep.
Thanks, guys.
Would have liked that one to be just around the top 4. It's coming a little bit far back, so now this is going to give Sweden an opportunity to come right down on it, in behind their center guard.
Tight. Farten bra! Kom igen! Bra linje. Topp 4, 10. Tight för frysen, bra för en liten tap. Bra fys. 4, 10. Bra linje nu. 10. Limma dit den. 10. Snyggt. Härligt.
Great throw.
Helst mjuksaktig linjemässigt liksom. Vi sopar det, säger de. Är det samma fart eller? 9. Eventuellt den här är grejen ändå. Okej, jag spelar samma fart.
Christopher's just playing absolutely unbelievable. Having a solid week so far.
Sju, 8, 9. Ja, vill ha 9. Linja är bra. 9. Linja är bra. Hard, Marcus. Wow. Rent. 8, 9. Rent. Blir det tight? Ja. Hard.
Ooh.
Just past that center guard. Just get to shuffle the stones around a wee bit. But would have liked to keep that shooter on top of the red. Kind of invite Sweden to come in again.
Really close. But as you see, it does, his shooter, that Yellowstone, does pop into the open a little bit. So the angle's a little bit into Norway's favor of slashing in. That's why we see Sweden trying to go on top of their red. This one's gotta stop. And of course it's perfect.
It's pretty good there. Very tough to remove. Never hit what you can see of the red. The first one's just going on to the yellow on the left, and the shot stone goes right back onto the back yellow.
Prøv å stikke en rett inn her, kanskje. Hvis du får dra gale med, så er det greit da, litt på den siden. Prøve. Gjerne litt ekstra hvis du kan.
Det er sikkert litt float på den siden, det var rett nedover.
Yeah, asking for a little bit of extra oomph on this one. So we might see the bit of an extension on the throw from Nedergotten. That's pretty good thrust coming out the hack. Nothing too big.
Doesn't look happy with it so far.
Does get contact.
Does get rid of the guard and gets rid of their back stone, which wasn't helping them out a lot. So does rearrange it.
That's that bailout you mentioned. If one of these teams gets a bad start to the end, they'll try and bail out quickly. So then it's kind of up to the other team, in this case Sweden, if they want to keep the pressure on. Just maybe make a play on the yellow. They will throw the guard.
På linan är okej ändå. Ja.
Good call.
Rasmus Vrano is skip himself. Juniors. Silver medal at the 2012 World Junior Curling Championships. Just lost out to Brendan Botcher in the final. It was held in Östersund, Sweden, where the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship will go to in just a couple of weeks. That guard is in place. As we take a look at China, Italy, it's Sodo Jia with his last stone facing at least one Italian stone in there, looking for a run back. See the damage he can do here, running this tight center guard back. He was very unlucky to just stuff it. And is it 2? Just the 1. But that's still a steal for Italy. 3-0 after 2 ends.
Fyrfota gillar jag. Ja, den eller? Nej, kör samma som de 2 andra.
Känns som de trackar rätt rejält. Lägg den som du tror.
So even though they juggled around all the rocks in the forefoot, leaving the center guard, so still the come around option for Sweden. Not looking for it to be too deep. And perfect.
Well, a couple of red stones in around the 12-foot here for Switzerland. 3, in fact, as Kim Chang-min, skip up Korea, is throwing his last stone. No score so far in the game. Just needing a piece of the 8-foot on this one. But sweepers are really backing off this one. Will it grow some teeth and settle down? Well, Fester is out there to sweep this one through, and it is all the way through. That is a huge steal of 3 for Switzerland, and that is the score, 3-0 after 2.
Back on our sheet, we saw a run back, but kind of went a little bit in between, so had they swept it maybe a little bit more, they could have grabbed that side red, but just left it, so just went in between those 2 red stones. This guard is definitely closer to the ring, so making this run back a little bit easier.
Big sweep here to hold the line. It's over curling. Kind of gets it the other way, but leaves, well, actually only leaves 1 red in play. Leaves the yellow center guard.
Jag såg inte situationen här. Svårare att sticka. Ska jag ta det rör här? I alla fall. Var det väggen och innan?
Benefit with that is if they do need to throw the run back again, it will be with their own stone. So even if Sweden is to make another perfect come around, it will have that option available to them.
Bra linje. Ta linje. Lite plats. Så länge. 8. Lite plats. Bra fart. Krippa, kör om ni behöver gå.
Lite kort.
Bra lagt. Ja, kom igen nu.
Kom nu, punkt 4!
Kom igen.
Mata in.
Jävlar, förled dig också!
Okej, släpp.
Great shot. Does show a little piece to maybe tempt them into trying to go at the red directly instead of throwing the run back.
Jag tänker innan samma som det är också egentligen så spilla oss för att göra den.
Okej.
Eventuellt bara plocka den och rulla av och så. Tänkte jag köra en 20.
But I agree. They saw this run before. They know the line.
Nära. Blanken av hvis vi gör rundobern där. Rundobern. Ja. Jag prövar att slasha en sån att skjutaren fär bort från centrum.
Okej, så vilken chappen?
Nej, inte chappen. Jag prövar att sticka hjul på höger sida. Men det viktigaste är inte att skjutaren kommer bort så har vi ett återslag på nästa.
Okej.
The run back is the call. Important for Valstad to know and trust the throw of Höjberg, who just threw down this line. But you can see there's a little more weight to this one than his third. Runs a little bit straighter and doesn't make contact with any of the reds. It's a bit more of a positive throw from the skipper.
Blir det lite så här så är det okej. Ja, min insida. Ja, exakt. Vi inte inte köra upp innan. Att han inte ska ha en inåt så är det mitt 10 max. Ja.
Men det är klart han ska sätta den och ta en shot.
Spela typ samma som för dragning fest eller? Tror du? Den höll vi inte igång någonting.
Vad hade jag kvar nu?
86
och 92.
Ja, det kändes lösa 90 stämningar på det. Han spelar typ 85 eller 81.
Team's just discussing in the hack right now what weight to throw. Early ends of the game. It's always going to be a little bit of a question mark on the path, so great when all members are able to contribute and try and give as much information as possible to help that skipper out. Just looking for a little bit of a tap here.
Just looking to close down the scoring area even further for Norway. Doesn't want to leave the hole forfeit. And does shrink to rings by a couple of inches. And sits 3, so definitely some pressure on Stefan Valstad here to make the draw.
Ja, jag tänkte är den lite hård och vi får den här tjockhall, man bara trycker ner någon stöd där med taken.
Ja, och så hade jag 14 blank på några andra. Någon har skulle dit. Ja. Vad tror du? 14 blank. Ja.
Here the Norwegians operate primarily on the hog-to-hog split times. 14 seconds, that's what they're thinking for this last one, the sweepers. They jump it early. Facing 3. They're 1 down at the moment, looking to tie it up here with a score. A little bit off and on, looking pretty close, looking pretty happy, the sweepers. Are they in control? Yes, they are. Very nice sweep, a good throw as well. Onto the side button, that's 1 for Norway, it's tied. 1 point each after 3 ends.
14-3 på den här.
Ja. Bra kontroll, Magnus. 14-3? Ja. Måste vara 70%. Ja.
Är det han med hästsvans?
Ja, jag skulle tro det. Här har han det.
Jag vet inte vad han heter faktiskt.
Ja, eller. Ja, det ser ju bra ut det här. Ja, spel hela vägen.
Ja. Nice, sista i fjärde.
Det känns som att det är nära samma fart överallt. Lite de här och mitten 8 fot typ. Som fortfarande är lite kärvt kanske.
Ja. Känns det som att där, de dragningar som vi drar där, de kommer ju extremt lite alltså. Får man en take där då kommer det gå riktigt rakt.
Ja.
Tight score here as Sweden take on Norway in the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Again, we're here for the 361 World Men's Curling Championship. Listening to myself, Sander Urbog, and I'm joined by Canadian curling superstar Alison Krivjazuk.
You didn't have a past tense in there.
Are you now Swedish? Is that what you're saying?
No. The superstar part.
Ah, okay.
Still Canadian. Christopher Sundgren at 91%. Tournament accuracy. Incredible numbers. It's definitely the numbers that you want for your lead. Getting the perfect setup every single end. As we see here, a great position for the corner guard. Magnus Wolberg, 89. That is also incredible. As we said, the beginning of the game, you see the positions here are pretty even across the board. All players throwing exceptionally well this week.
Gjerne si ifra når han spiller motsatt.
A little bit of a miscue there of showing the left side of the stone, so that now Christopher is going to be able to throw a nice controlled hit, perhaps even a roll behind their corner guard.
I heard a comment from Valstad saying it would be nice if you could let me know when he plays them in the opposite order, meaning the stones. So clearly thinking that their lead has one stone that's straighter or one stone that curls a bit more, either or. And just play them in the wrong order, and then the skip icing them for what he's expecting to see. Didn't quite get them online. As we see Sundgren not quite able to kill that yellow. Hangs around in the back 12. Nedergotten looking to come around this guard, get to the red. And is able to tap that all the way out.
Rasmus Vrano, 86%. As we saw with the last Magnus Nedergotten, 85.
Ja, spel. Sorry, varken bounce den fick. Det är en lång klockrätt. Jeg vil gjerne gå roligere enn det. Ja, vant det fint. Jeg legger på litt fra den i stedet bare.
Great roll. Unfortunately, rolls a little bit too far. So will pop out on the other side and give Norway the chance to lie 2.
The good thing about rolling too far, though, is Norway can't make the hit and roll back towards the center line. So essentially forcing them out of the 8-foot, opening up scoring area. Oh, just by that corner guard. What a sweep.
11-4, bra fart.
Breathes a sigh of relief. Great sweep. Just barely gets that one by. Rasmus will get a crack at trying to draw around now.
Håll igång då! Gärna bak 8. Krippa, krippa!
Trying to get this one back 8 so that they're able to tuck it around. And they'll do just that. Oh, and there you see them. The Swedish Curling Academy. All their gear on. Cheering on their Swedish team. Marcus Højberg. 86.
Wow, 9. Ser gjennom ut. Ja, den er lang. 10.
This one looking a little hot. He's just gonna tick it, and does he tick it enough to get second though?
I think so. Nadine is not sure.
No.
Kanske en där och bara gör den. Okej, ja. Eller den. Var det också. Det går att göra dubben på gul, eller? Det är väldigt tunt kanske på den andra. Den dubben? Ja, den. Ser det. Ja, inte att ligga kvar. Okej. Jag gillar nog någon typ av dragning ändå. Ja. Gillar du den? Ja, det är tiddragningsspåret för mig, så kanske är den. Känns som det blir för lätt att bara frysa bort det liksom. Ja, vi kommer ändå måste dra där sen. Spela det då.
Really great discussion from the guys.
Topp 4, eller bite 4.
Oscar asking if there was any double possibility, but not any that's going to have his shooter stick around. So decided to just draw around this center guard. Oscar at 87%, saying that it's the same path that he threw for in his practice for the last stone draw. So he knows it quite well.
Behöver stanna framför 10 i alla fall. Kallar över också. Sitt. Det är bra. Bra spel.
And just slipping a tiny bit deep there. Might see Norway follow as we jump over to Switzerland, Korea. Steal of 3 for Switzerland in the second. Looking to make up for it here. Kim Chang-min, a potential double to score 4 right back. That would be something. Remember, missed that draw against 3. Kim Chang-min would love to make up for it, and well, 1-2, 4 points. What a way to make up for that mistake. And that's a 4-3 game now after 3 ends. Incredible.
Got to be shaking your head if you're Switzerland. How did it come to this?
Well, we saw Sweden come up slightly deep on the draw. The same for Norway. Wanted to sit right on the face of the red. Just leaves its corner frozen.
Ja, så bak 8 fart typ. Ja.
They're just throwing a back 8 weight at this. Just trying to get a little bit to the inside, push that Yellowstone back to sit 2 in behind.
Bak 8.
Nästan bak 12. Kom med.
Bak 12.
Ja, håll igång
Bak
lite.
8. Bak 8.
Wow, wow.
Ren. Bak 8.
Wow,
Nästan bak 12.
Kalla. Wow. Rent.
Bak 8.
Kalla.
Bak 8.
Vilken inåt. Kom igen. Kom igen.
Great shot.
Alert.
Oskar.
Alert.
Oscar Eriksson, the only lefty here at the Men's World Championship.
You don't say.
So for Oscar, that was his intern.
Han blev lite tight i sliden.
Du kan gå så bytte ut den.
Jeg liker liksom å la den senteren ligge igjen nå.
Hva gjør den da? Kan ikke dra en til der da?
Hvor mye skal til for å bomme den da? Det er jo det er stikken på kvartling også, vet du.
Ja, det gjør det.
Ser det.
Det er like forstått. Ja.
Innen som jeg hadde oppover her. Ja. Litt roligere slapp, men jeg får kanskje 10 likevel, tror jeg.
Can't see much of the red. That's the tiny advantage Eriksson has sometimes coming out the left-handed hack. Stefan will actually see less of the red than Oscar. And will choose to run this back. Now remember, you played that intern run back a little bit when the third end floated. We'll see if he can correct himself here to run this yellow guard back onto the reds. But again, not quite curling enough. Does get one red though. It's not bad, rolls the shooter over, opens it up.
See Nicholas over at the side there.
Alltså, vi måste inte ligga bättre än den
Trying to
här.
line up some angles before his shot.
Ja, alltså jag kommer inte få... När den stickar, där behöver vi outcounta.
Ja, det är inte mycket stor skillnad dock.
Nej.
Jag behöver nästan.
Something he is very strong at, knowing exactly where to hit it.
Så är det något annat vi behöver göra då?
Him and Oscar together are absolutely fantastic when it comes to knowing the angles.
Jag kommer inte vara gömd på att göra det slaget. Jag kommer inte nibbla 4 om jag gör det där klippan den, då har vi inget slag för 2 ändå.
Den här går väl att få ut nästan från 4-foten så här. Så den rör sig 5 cent. Nej, kommer fan inte röra så mycket.
Nej, den är för tight den här rackaren. Jag tror fan vi behöver röra den.
Om vi spelar ner den, hur långt ska vi rulla då? Vill vi att den här stannar där?
Ja, jämn höjd liksom.
Och att den stannar här?
Så, ja.
Och hoppas på att det inte linar upp sig för en
Hoppas på
dubbel.
att han inte gör dubbeln. Ja. Annars är jag öppet för 1 i alla fall. Ta 1 här är faktiskt fine. Om jag drar här och han sätter dubbeln liksom, skulle det kunna bli en halv onydlig sista sten.
Ja, vi kör den då. Vad gillar du för fart?
11 eller sarg.
Ja, 11.
Får vi iväg dem lite grann.
Får vi ut den här i alla fall,
So
troligtvis.
looking to use their red,
Så,
Ja.
angle back
Staffa
on the
den
yellow.
där.
jämn höjd. Så,
Och rulla ner hit typ. Försöka rulla in bakom garden.
Yeah, but roll the
Så
shooter.
han inte kan göra
Just
något
try
via
and
den.
get both reds
den här kommer
even
lägga, han
in
kommer
the
göra den
house.
dubbeln tror jag.
Ja,
That way it's not going to
Kanske vi
be
kan ännu längre
an
då, så den
easy
ligger lite
double or a
frys på den.
double available for Stefan
vi kan ner
Wallstad.
bak 8.
11 som man får iväg liksom, får lite rörelse i det liksom.
Basically a little bit of a head and roll off of their own stone here. 91% so far in the tournament for Hedin. Shooting the lights out so far.
Kom med. Nej,
Nej, nej!
Just want to run this redstone on the yellows, stick it there, roll the shooter away, not leave a double. And I think that first Yellowstone maybe squeezed a bit more to the wing than they were expecting. I was hoping for that to stay where it was, provide some backing.
Innan.
Ja. Mulig for enda mer køll utover, eller? Bortsett fra senter. Før på andre banen i hvert fall.
Ja.
Noe sånt.
Det er 25. Prøv der. OK. Halv.
So it's a half rock double for Valstad. Pretty flat, but they're not too far apart. Still need some heat for this one.
Och fått tunnare, rulla ut längre för att få den där gula stanna.
Yep. Hard. 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 Oh.
Rent.
Well, looking pretty good here. 1-2. Double takeout to sit. At least 2. Still not sure who's third shot.
Yeah, so Sweden, with that double, they'll just go for their single here. Realizing there's no deuce opportunity.
Well, Norway had to draw against 3 in the previous end. Now it's Edin throwing an open hit against potentially 3. At least 2 Norwegian counters in there. Looking pretty safe coming down the center line here, though. That is a nose hit, and 1 point for Sweden. Only singles on the board so far. It's 2-1 for the Swedes after 4 ends of play.
Ja, bra. Dåligt skippat på mig på vicken där.
Two-1 is the score as Sweden plays Norway at this 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship. It's been a close game so far. We've had some interesting ends, some good shots. Pretty much everything we've expected so far, but there's a lot left in it.
Linjen är lite vid just nu.
Bra fart, nära själv. Jag satt oss lite, jag tror det var.
Kommer nu, ja. 15-1.
Bra fart.
Där ändå.
Sitter framför.
Fifth end now. Norway 1 down. I was just gonna say, will we see them start to maybe try and manage that scoreboard? And by drawing to the wing, I think maybe that's exactly what they're doing here.
Yep. So by going in the house, maybe looking at trying to get a blank here in this end and retaining the hammer in the next. Don't think you're going to get many misses in terms of getting an easy deuce due to a flash. So I think going to the open and just kind of hoping that Nicholas will play into it.
Well, you might think, well, Norway's one down here. They're currently losing the game. Why not go out there and try and score some points?
Yeah, well, like as you said, so all about scoreboard management. So you want to have, typically, you want to have the hammer in the even ends. That way, when you're coming home in the 10th, you've got that hammer in your pocket, should you ever need to use it.
Just chisel away. I guess it's also just looking at the board, seeing, well, there's just as many odd ends and even ends left in the game, but you blanked this 5th end. Now there's obviously one more even end left. If you keep scoring with a hammer throughout the game, you get to score once more than your opponent. Although we have had a blank already in the game. As soon as a blank or steal comes into play, everything changes.
Momentum switches. Speaking of the momentum of the end, so with that hit and roll out of the rings, this actually gives Sweden a chance to come around their center guard that they put up. Still only be those 2 red stones in play, so the blank end is still on. So we see these guys can throw tons of weight.
Well, a little bit less weight required for this one. As Italy is facing 1 red. It's a draw for Amos Mosaner. Get to the forfeit for 1. Try and stay in this game. Increase their lead to 4-1. And just backing off it here, the sweepers. Ferrata and Pilser, as this one will settle onto the backing. And it's 1 point for Italy. 4-1 lead after 4. A good shot by Norway, it seems.
It's exactly what we said. Despite having the perfect center guard and 1 top 4 around it. Got 2 the absolute perfect run back double.
Rolls the shooter quite far away, opens up the center. Now we see Sweden throwing the center guard, so that clearly means Sweden does not want to leave Norway blanking here.
No, if you're Sweden, you would love to see Norway being forced to take 1 point here.
So maybe throwing up the center guard a few times, let them peel, and then maybe consider coming around the corner.
Absolutely. Want to delay this a little bit longer. Right now we are at Third's first stone.
Let's see Switzerland, Korea. Quite a game it's been so far. It was Switzerland stealing 3, Korea scored a 4 right back. Now it is Pfister with an in-turn. Looks to be maybe a tap to score 2. A sweep from Brother and Rafael Marchi to get this little nudge on the yellow, and we'll get there. That's 2 points up on the board for Switzerland, back in the lead now, 5-4.
Yep, T-blind. Yep, hard. 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 Hela veien. T5. Hard. Hard, hard, hard.
Well, this guard slipping into the rings.
Okay.
Hoping to play the hit and roll, leaves it as a guard. And these are all the scores now in the Orleans Arena for this evening draw. 5-4 for Switzerland, like we just saw. Italy up 4-1. Our game's a 2-1 game for Sweden, and the same is happening on sheet D. Russia up 2-1 on Germany.
Lite tight. Nej, det är bra. Bra linje, bra linje, bra linje, bra linje.
4.
Bara fart.
Topplopp. 4.
Nära tid. Rent.
4.
Ja.
Topplopp.
Väldigt nära tid, väldigt nära tid. Ja, stanna. Snyggt. Bra. Lider på där alltså.
Right on the button there from Oskar Eriksson.
Eller vill du pil?
Pil egentlig, 7-5.
Pil. Outhanden rätt undan.
Same line as they threw in the first end.
Okej. Där.
Höjberg overcurled slightly on that occasion, but actually playing the out turn this time. Throw the in earlier. Just a little bit wide. So they're sweeping that to make sure they roll away. I was hoping to maybe catch it even thinner and try and roll that shooter into the house. You see that sometimes from players, especially on the out turn. Tend to float it a little bit, set it back. And on the ice here, running pretty straight on the upweight shots, you're not going to be forgiven if you do.
Was he given the choice of which turn he wanted to throw?
Couldn't quite hear.
No?
Did you feel like it would make sense to throw the same turn as he did earlier?
I would have thought so, but it could have been something he decided in the hack. Maybe he had a good feeling with the out turn.
Han inte kan gå direkt på den, linjen viktigast, men en halv meter framför vore nice.
Fin spår där.
Ja, lätt och fint, ja. Mjukt satt, väldigt mjukt satt. Linjen är bra, det är bara för fart, Ralle. Mjukt satt.
Speaking of setting it back,
Kör då!
Dean's quite known for maybe sliding a bit tight on the broom and then just popping them out.
This is the never-ending discussion between me and their team on this. Call it the Swedish line.
I think you'll see, at least the players I know well, I prefer to, if anything, slide a little tight on the broom, be able to float them a little bit instead of the other way around. It's tougher to slide wide and hook them.
Absolutely.
Although there are certainly players that can do that as well, and they're a nightmare to play against.
They'll find curl where where no one else can find it.
Well, that guard does end up a bit far away from the house. Doesn't quite cover the shot stone either. So a chance for Norway to make the play on it. Try and keep the shooter in the rings. Still looking for that blank end. We'll be throwing softer weight now. Of course, the softer weight you throw, the more curl you'll have. The sweepers can do a better job helping out. Not too much sweeping for Vågberg to hold the line here. Sporting in his ankle socks, of course, quite warm here in Las Vegas. I was talking to Ulsrud second, Kristoffer Svan, nicknamed Bompy, when he played here at the Continental Cup. He said he came to the arena just wearing flip-flops and suddenly realized he might need socks to put on his curling shoes.
Hopefully someone was able to lend him some.
It's quite unfamiliar to have such warm weather outside and then come in to play curling. Quite used to going to cold places. Don't think anyone's complaining though, as we see Nadine looking for a roll, finds a cover. Bring it far. Have they brought it far enough, or is there a hole to maybe blank here?
Yeah, there is definitely a hole there. Good line call, realizing it was gonna He wasn't going to sit in behind that center guard, so trying to actually roll it further, but just doesn't quite make it. About half buried in behind. But half's more than enough for a hit and roll out for the blank.
We'll actually be throwing the out turn at this. Seem to have a bit more on the end. They're saying it runs a bit straighter on the out, and we know Wallstad does tend to pop the out turns a little bit. They'll run very straight. This one might be running too straight. Is it on the corner? No. But it will actually catch too much of that red and will stick around. Almost seemed harder to do.
I agree.
Well, that will be one though for Norway. Not intended. That was not the plan, but it is a tied game now. 2 each after 5. That's half-time break for the teams. Norway plays Sweden first end. It's a draw against what looks like 2 for Niklas Edin. Skip of Sweden. Just some light brushing from the front end to bring it into the forefoot. 1 point up on the board. A blank in second brings us to the third. All but Swedish stones in the house as Norwegian fourth player Stefan Wallstad is looking for the forefoot. Another good sweeping job to bring this into the side button, this time from Norway. 1 point for them, tied game after 3. In the fourth end, a nice double by Norway to sit at least 2. Edin looking for the nose hit. Again, very much in control, just some light dusting from Rasmus Verano. 1 point for Sweden. And with a point in the fifth end for Norway, it is tied at 2 each. Looking elsewhere in the Orleans Arena, it's Switzerland leading Korea 5-4. Italy is 4-3 up on China. And Germany is up 3-2, playing Russia.
I'm good,
Jag hade typ Hammar 2 av 7 matcher på SM. Ja. Två gånger drog ju Jon dem jävligt bra mot oss också. Ja. Han drog ju båda matchhålen liksom. 2 gånger. Det var inte så mycket att göra. Jag tänkte bättra på statistiken lite utan Hammar-start.
Men för långt vi på ett lite annat.
Ja. Bare vært tålmodig. Prøve å utnytte sjansene når du får dem. Så har jeg fått noen sjanser, men så har jeg ikke vært flink nok til å ta den.
Just looking at the stats, it is Sweden with an advantage, 7%. They will have the last on advantage, just like they had at the start of the game. So, sort of gone nowhere so far through 5 ends. As you see, it's maybe the hit percentages for Norway needing to be slightly improved. But we have 5 more ends of exciting curling here in the Orleans Arena at this 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. Welcome, first-time viewers, or welcome back to whoever stuck around for the first 5 ends. It's Sweden playing Norway in the Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada. 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship. To guide you through the second half of the game is myself, Sander Elvåg, joined by curling extraordinaire Alison Kraviazek.
Oh, Sander.
It's been entertaining.
It has, definitely.
And of course, that fits very well into Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah. A few unforced errors here. Just resulted in some singles on the board.
Yeah, not too many opportunities to score multiple. It's all been forced on the last stone for the team so far, except in that last end, the previous end, the 5th end. Norway had the chance to blank. Wasn't able to roll out, scored 1 instead. Tied game as we see Sundgren playing really well so far through the first half.
98% so far.
He's so solid. You know what you'll get from him.
One thing that we've been noticing is after the 5th end break, the rock's going a little bit too far. A little bit quicker than before that, so but both of the teams here seem to have managed that perfectly.
How come?
Well, you've got the ice makers generally go up and down with the mops, and it typically just kind of quickens up the surface a little bit. So sometimes it kind of goes into the back of their heads, and then you let it go and you think, oh, darn.
Well, definitely seen a lot of stones come up deep in the 6th end, so that's a good job on the leads here not to fall into that trap. Gets guards, both teams, and a second center guard for Norway.
Notice it's a little bit off of the line as the first one, but you were mentioning earlier you had heard them talk a little bit about Leeds rocks and perhaps a slight difference in line on them.
Yeah, did hear that comment in the first half. Well, of course, that's something they should know and ice for. Sometimes you forget, but that's just as important for the player himself to remember, not only the skip. 2 center guards here. The 6th end, does that mean they're looking to steal? Doesn't seem like the end you really need to force your opponent to score. Talking about even and odd ends.
Well, it could be just that perhaps they know with Swedish team they are going to be able to get lots of rocks out of play, so maybe by throwing the 2 center guards they're just trying to give themselves a little bit of leeway in case they were able to clear some of that front up. But I do agree with you.
Well, that's exactly what Sweden will be doing here. Try and clear the front up. Looking for the tight center guard. That is the danger rock for Sweden at the moment, but playing soft weight, so trying to hold the shooter. Can even roll it onto the ring somehow. Punch that guard over. Well, not quite. It's a very offensive Norway coming out for the 6th end.
Kom lite faktiskt från Hågon Emre, kanske var därför
Du har i stad. En av det jeg stusset litt på. Vil du ha samme? Nei, du kan godt ha mer hvis du mener jeg skal ha det. Litt mykere, litt mykere. Den er bra. 2,5-3. 2,5-3, perfekt. Kjører over. 2,5. Ok. Linja er bra, den. Til kosten min. Var det.
Did get slightly more ice, and that's what they were talking about before the throw. Does overcurl a tad, but of course, not too bad showing. A piece of that yellow. Won't be able to remove it anyway with that red stone behind it.
Det är lite jobbigt om man gör den och ligger kvar center. Hela högersidan stängd. Då är det i alla fall våran gard vi skickar. Ja, vi ligger i och för sig skott där, det är ingen brådis.
Frysa den då.
Väl du Niklas.
Vi skulle bara kunna dra hit också. Tappa löst det lite grann om vi har linje.
Kör det som känns bäst.
Ja. Bara spelar du för mycket fart kommer den aldrig kalla upp här.
Absolut.
Bara topp 12, ligger den bra, tar vi en liten tapp.
Nicholas giving the players quite a few options here and just kind of talking it through with himself as well. The guy's just saying, it's fine, Nicholas, we trust you. You decide.
It seems like a thing Edin does a lot, not even from the head, also in the hack, talking through everything. Seems like it's not only for his team to hear, but it's almost like he's preparing himself, just thinking out loud.
Yep, I agree.
It's nice to have a process and stick to it. We're hoping here to actually get to the nose of that yellow, tap things around a little bit. Doesn't curl quite enough. Does lie two now though.
Må nesten ha tjukk kall for å komme i sida på han. Spiller rulla bare.
Ja. Tjukk kall er vanskelig, men jeg 55.
Ja, men rulla er bra da.
Ok.
Jeg tror du kan stoppe tiden og gli litt ned på halv.
Svart en gud.
Vanlig.
Ja.
What did they decide on here, Sander?
I just wanted to ideally catch a thick half here. Try and roll, catch a piece of the shot stone, try and leave the shooter in the forefoot. Said it was pretty hard to get thick half, could only see 55%.
Wow, that's specific.
We'll get past it, and that's a pretty good shot by Marcus Höjberg.
Most players you'll hear, they will say thin half and thick half, but 55, that works too.
Actually ends up over curling, if anything. Catch a little bit thinner. Might be able to punch that red out in the open.
Skulle man ta den så är de här öppnar och gaddar om, då får vi dra här då.
De lägger gadda.
Ja, det kan jag göra.
Om vi bara sprätter den nedre.
Tjapp!
Det ligger i skotten då.
Om vi bara tar den där yttre.
Ja, det kan vi göra.
Jag ser lite grann av toppstenens rygg.
Ja.
Man ser liksom 2-3 centi.
Känns ju dock som att garden är ett problem ändå, men jag håller med, det är ingen lätt skjutning. Kan klippa den, då lägger vi skott där. De har väl antingen den då, eller går runt här och tappar ner den på något vis.
Det är inget jättestort hål. Ticka i cornern och träffar så blir det ju bajs också.
Stäm nu.
Första tanken var att göra den ändå. Ja, gör den då. Ja. Just de här tre lägger ingen vidare, även om vi smäller den så... Okej, ja, då kör vi det. Jag gillar den.
Innan eller hur?
Ja.
There you go, Oscar, 100%.
No easy shot coming up here though. Yellow try and clip something. Does certainly open it up, but leaves Norway sitting two.
Not quite the result that they were looking for. Leaving both center guards in play.
Just var lite förbi den femmaren. Ja,
But also having the two Norwegian stones still in the house and pretty even at that. So no easy double there.
Helst bare 2,5. 3.
And of course, by blocking off this hole, they'll be zero double,
Kan skli her, du.
at least on the ones in the house.
Stand lenger, Indre. Helt
I
riktig.
don't think that's going to stop them from looking at the guards. Maybe still there.
Just over curls a bit for Norway. We're hoping to put that pretty much in the hole, I think. We're talking about maybe rubbing off the red center guard. That didn't curl enough to do that.
Ja, 7 cent i luft kanske. Om du spelar den handen känns det som en halvträff. Ja, vilken fart. Tjock hand kommer också gå, men då kanske lite mindre fart så vi inte spinner iväg. Och det är nice att ligga kvar exakt där om det går. 11 eller? Ja, jag tänkte ändå mer, men alltså göra dubbel. Men inte kanske clearing. Så vi får träffen men inte fortsätter rulla iväg så mycket.
So really getting into the specifics on this. Not only are they going through the hole, need to hit half of the rock in order to make the double, but they want to be able to stick and not roll their shooter up. So then they're talking about the weight to make sure if they don't throw too much.
You can see the time clocks there. Not struggling for time yet, but of course discussions like that could eat up some time. I'll be surprised to see how their team run out of time though. It'll be quite shocking. It's going to over curl, so two kind of half shots by Oscar. Does roll a redstone onto the 12 foot though. Not sure if that's going to come into play. With only skip rocks left now. Jumping over to Switzerland, Korea, where we've seen quite a few things happen. Kim Chang-min, the last stone, in a bit of trouble. Just looking to make the double and try and get a steal of three down to a steal of 1, but it is a steal of 2. Didn't make that double. Jams at 7-4 for Switzerland. Just a guard to be thrown by Norway here, saying 1.5, 2. And are we using the number system to call weight, where 1, 2, and 3 would be the zones for the guards between the hog line and the house. 4 through 10 would be inside the house. And here Sweden using the more traditional weight calling system by calling out top 12, top 8, back 4, so on and so forth. The guard is in place.
Yeah, each team has their own way of communicating. Just as you were saying before, the Norwegian team discusses a lot on hog-to-hog times. Whereas if you were to listen in the conversations with Nicholas, they talk a lot about split times.
Meaning, is that back to hog or tee to hog splits?
Backline to hog.
So that back line will be the first line. Edin will cross coming out the hack, just at the very back of the 12 foot as you see it. And of course the hog line where the stone needs to be released. That's giving an indication of the weight for the players. Of course that can vary all depending on how you throw it. So it's not a guarantee. It's nothing you need to get into if you play curling for the first time. As we see the raw clock, this would be the hog to hog, so basically that line where Edin will release the stone to that second black line. 13.9 should be pretty close for T-line weight.
He's got to curl a bit. Try and bring it as far back as they can.
That's pretty good there.
That's pretty good. As you can see there. Don't think he's got much from the hack.
Du ser en fri kladen, Steffen. Ja, jeg vet, men det et bedre resultat, og den rett bak 10. Du skal fryse den eller bumpe en stein med nok køl.
So just looking to freeze on the top of it.
That is the call. Looks pretty tough though.
Så ja, 13-7 på en. Det fikk jeg også.
Didn't even consider maybe playing the tap on the Yellowstone left, and the 8-foot seems pretty natural. Just catch a piece into the 4-foot. Of course here, if you just freeze maybe on the outside, not even sit shot, still pretty tough draw to score 2 for Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. Your tolerance on this one is definitely to come up a little bit short.
Yeah, don't want to get too tight and bounce off your own yellow here. Leave the hit and roll in. This is really wide.
And it looks like it needs to come off as well.
Yep, it is heavy.
And that is not what you wanted to do. And just like that, a skips deuce is available for Sweden. Out of nowhere, really. They were in a heap of trouble. Coming into Nicholas Edin's first stone.
Looked like Norway was pretty happy with how the end was setting up, throwing that long guard on the skips first. Although they only were in the 8-foot. Left Edin a chance to get in there. Played a beautiful first draw. Wallstad not able to follow, so it's pretty much the same shot for Edin. Get in there for 2. And then the 6th end as well would be a great result. Especially, look at the scoreboard, only singles so far. A 2-pointer would really stick out. A bit of a blow to the Norwegians if he can get there. A little bit of a
Do they have it?
On the sweep, just lost it. What happened there? Pulls up short. Just 1 for Sweden. Lets Norway off the hook. Still only singles in this game. It's a 3-2 lead for Sweden after 6 ends here in Orleans Arena.
Tenkte at vi kommuniserte litt dårlig så før.
Ja, sånn, ja.
Vi hadde ikke giset opp.
Nei, men jeg prøvde å spille frysen og fikk oss linja, så...
Ok.
Jeg trodde det var i nærheten av 37 år, men jeg var jo litt hard da. Men jeg vet, marginalen kort, og så går den på andre siden, jeg vet det. Jeg har bare prøvd å følge letteren på 37.
Ja, men det er greit. Bare følt at vi snakket litt dårlig.
Ja, sånn, ja. Ja, nei, men oss var på samme page.
Jeg tenkte derfor dragning.
Ja, jeg tenkte.
Sweden-Norway back in action. We're now in the 7th end. This game just running away from us. It's almost over.
I know. What are you going to do?
Very entertaining so far, very tight. Only been 1 point it's up on the board, 1 blank. 3-2 for Sweden. And now 7th end. Norway played really aggressively in that 6th end.
Well, it almost went their way. One fantastic draw on Nicholas's first, and tables turned, and then all of a sudden, it's only a 1 on the board.
Yeah, had the chance to score 2. That was, I believe, the first time we had seen a chance to score 2 on the last stone in this game. All other times it's been a force or a blank.
Ooh, just hangs on in the back there.
We saw the same tactic from Norway in the 5th end when they were looking to blank. Of course, they had the chance to blank, but Balstad stuck around to score 1. So it's all about hoping that Sweden will roll out at some point so they can peel that center guard, keep everything open. Of course, Sweden will try and use that guard at some point. Force Norway to score their point. Very much looking at the scoreboard now. And I kind of like this call, actually. See teams keep heading out in the wing. Why not just draw on top?
Yeah, it didn't work out for them 2 ends ago when they had a hit and roll out. And that gave Sweden the opportunity to draw around that center guard. Bit switching gears here.
Okay, ingen bump på den linjen. Ingen dans på den linjen.
Yeah, it's pretty good there.
So we can see there's a little bit of a bounce. But definitely enough separation, enough of an angle that this will go out with ease.
Yeah, but Sweden won't be able to lie 2 here. And if they clip their own round, which they don't, or we could have peeled the center guard, so maybe they'll just keep playing this draw until they get that result.
Okay. Jeg føler at traff Kosta var litt inne og la han ut. Men det var på Kosta slutt. Ja. Fart da. Linja er bra. Bare fart. Har du plass? Markus.
Trying to get some extra curl on this one.
Linja er bra nå. Switch. Magnus. Switch. Magnus. Switch.
Not anymore. Doesn't have the weight. Just they switched to try and get the curl, but ends up over curling at the end.
Yeah, you see Sweden come around the center and lie 2. Speaking of 2, Alexei Timofev, a chance to score 2 on Germany. Just needing the 8-foot to take the lead on Germany. Klimov and Rajabov on the sweep. Trying to guide the stone into the house, looking pretty good here. Will settle nicely in the forfeit. 2 points for Russia. They're up 4-3. We do see Sweden come around that center guard.
So Sweden will be lying 2 at the moment.
Not fully buried, so maybe Norway can make a double here, or at least a roll. Would you ever consider maybe playing that draw the other way?
I was just thinking that. But I'll let you finish your sentence and then I'll jump in. Definitely a possibility. So with having that side exposed, does allow a bit of a, even if just a hit and roll over towards that red stone. Could have been that they know the path a bit better. They have thrown quite a few come-arounds that way, so Perhaps it was something to do about the familiarity of the path. But my goodness.
Slightly overswept there. Got to say, when you have Marcus Höjberg sweeping, he's going to make a stone just stop curling altogether. But
yeah, and in the last case, over curl.
that didn't seem to have enough weight to maybe even get rid of that red stone. Felt like an underthrow. Really needed to kill that red stone and make the roll. Didn't seem possible with that weight. And still didn't curl enough.
Huge opportunity for Sweden to wrap another one around.
As this one, you might need to switch gears if you're Norway. Try and score your 2. Blank looking more and more unlikely.
Yeah, well, looks like they're gonna try and make some sort of run back double here. Of course, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's almost just about trying to score at all at the moment.
Yep. Tolerance on this, of course, is a peel the guard and maybe grab the red that's on the side.
I'll get both going. That's not a bad result. Rolls to a corner, leaves a stone behind the tee line.
That was really close to not grabbing that stone, though.
Topp 8 nu istället för full 4. Topp 8. Känns där. Ja, lite lång. Lite lång.
Oscar just saying that he might be a little bit hot. They're just looking for top 8 here. But it's not going to curl up. Too much ice, perhaps, or maybe a little bit of a float out.
Does expose a bit of the stone for Norway as we jump over to Switzerland, Korea again. And is Kim Chang-min down by 3 so far. And his last stone. At the 6th end, looking to score some points back on the Swiss. Get off and on the sweep here. Needing to squeeze his red stone out, and well, that is 3 points for Korea. Tied game after 6, high scoring game, 7-7.
High scoring indeed. 3s on the boards, a 4.
That was my apologies.
What's going on in your head right now?
Well, that's always a problem when you can understand a foreign language. Stefan, the skip, just said, you have to come here so I can hear you. And Marcus replied, I haven't said anything yet. It's not always easy to communicate across 150 feet of curling ice.
No, especially when there's other sheets that are yelling at the same time.
Close to making all the reds go. Leaves the shooter and the forfeit.
Lite mer. Det är bra.
10. Vicka ut lite vore nice. Men helst bara så att, liksom, så att han inte blir
Han
skott
kan
på bladet.
nästan bajta 4 här. Ja, bara vicka en handsten liksom, men inte vicka inåt i alla fall. Nej. Chapp är okej.
So really precise talk about where they want to roll on this. So that with the hit and they roll out a little bit. Still going to be shot even if the Norwegians are able to get around that corner guard. But won't be able to get a little bit of the roll out, but still manages to stay there.
We'll jump over to China, Italy. The Italians are up 4-3.
Det är en annan gammal tid.
Looks like a draw for two. Line one for Amos Mozaner. Last draw, the out turn. Likes the upweight shots. Was pretty good at the draws as well. Could take a 3-point lead right here. Taking a firm grip on this game. Looking pretty good coming down here. That will settle nicely in the forfeit. 2 points for Italy. That's a 6-3 lead as they're looking to win their second game. Stay in the hunt for a playoff spot. Might have to win the rest of the games here. Although only played 5 so far at 1-4. A big weight from Stefan Wallstad, looking to hit the Swedish shot stone here, jump across. And Will sticks it right there next to the red in the 12-foot.
Min första tanke var bara runda garden här. Kan ju få någonting, men... Ja, han kommer ju alltid ha en dubbel. Han har hela den där stenen.
Tar vi.
Måste nästan spela clearing och rulla liksom crosshouse. Allting mjukare. Så här då. Ja. Ja. Äcklig den.
Är ni emot att dra eller?
Nej, men min första tanke var att dra. Men han kommer ju få skjuta sticka för 2, men det är klart han missar den så är det ju.
Om man kallar över lite granna så är det...
Kan dra också.
Ligger den lite för att jamma mot
Behöver in på
om man kan få den dit.
Ja, jag tror jag gillar rundningen faktiskt. Kan vi stjäla på om man missar skjutningen också. Rullar han av skjutningen så blir det bara 1.
Det är nästan bäst att om vi skulle kunna kalla över så vi visar en femtedel på yttersidan. Så ifall han skjuter och sticker den rätt ofta ner.
Det blir rätt ofta.
Man skulle lägga han här liksom.
Ja, det är inte så lätt att komma dit bara.
Nej, absolut.
Ja,
Well, Sweden talked this over. We'll have a look at Germany-Russia. It's a 4-3 game for the Russians. For Alexander Baumann throws his last stone here. Germany also just sitting at the 1 win, although 5 losses, playing 6 games so far. That's a draw for 2, looking pretty good, just needing to hit the paint, and already there. 2 points for Germany, 5-4 lead after 7 ends. Back to our game, there's a bit of discussion there by Sweden. What was the thought?
Yeah, so it seemed like Nicholas really wanted to throw the draw on this. Felt really strongly about it. You need to just keep thinking back, like, what is acceptable here? And this does open the doorway for Norway to score a potential 2 if this isn't made perfect. But this looks pretty good.
I think the worry for Sweden was if they hit the Norwegian shot stone, there's a good chance they were leaving a double back for 2 anyway. They were saying, well, if you draw, tempt Norway to play the run back, they could miss. Leave Sweden stealing one.
I think you would see a lot of teams try and hit that back stone, though. Don't think you would get too many teams to be that aggressive with it. Do you agree with that?
Og det fort gjort at jeg gjør sånn nå, ikke sant, når jeg først så tynn.
Den for 2 kanskje lettere, eller den for 1. Så kan vi stjæle 8.
Ja, det opp til deg. Jeg tror den ser jo veldig vanskelig ut da.
Ja, det ser ikke lett ut.
Men det går an.
Det som litt kjipt med den her jo at, eller den vil vel dyttes ut.
Det blir aldri med en 1.
Garden i hvert fall ikke.
Det er litt kjedelig,
Helt klart.
Ja, det ikke noe opplagt.
Det er ikke så mange to.
Det som problemet med den der myke rønnen at
pil vet det står rett, men den midt imellom vet jeg ikke om curler eller står. Den umulig, den? Myk der?
Med løs, liksom?
Ja, backline.
Det ikke lett, da, hvis du dytter ganske langt.
Du kommer fra linja på den her, da, så den nesten enklere enn den der, tror jeg.
Personlig så nesten litt mot den, hvis du si noe.
Du ser 15 i hvert fall.
Ja, problemet er bare at jeg føler at det
Ta avgjørelsen selv. For meg skal han godt gå for den der. Du må vinne kampen en gang opp mot det.
Holder det tett.
Dra til Sentgarda og...
Well, not to leave you hanging in there, Alison. Just listening in to the Norwegians.
I understand.
But yeah, Sweden obviously confident to make the aggressive call when they want to, and they pulled it off here because they are forcing Norway to make the draw.
And Norway was discussing a few things, weren't they?
Yeah, you know, that stone just really ended up in the perfect spot for Sweden. Didn't show enough on the outside for them to feel confident about playing the tap to score 2. But came so deep, the run back's pretty long, and even because they overcurled it, there's a good chance it might jam. It'll be harder to make. So in the end, didn't like any of the options. Also had the thin double on the ends, but nothing seemed to appeal to Stefan Wallstad, so the draw to the button for 1 is the call to tie this game. That's mission accomplished for Sweden, but Norway will take it, and it's tied 3 each after 7 ends.
This is why.
Wheel of Fortune. Ja, bra. Så de drar sikkert rundt, tror jeg. Det er tidligere. Hæ? De softspiller.
De drar sikkert 2 rundt.
Ja, de lär väl kasta upp dubbla center sen nästan.
Vad säger vi om...
Kan runda direkt om vi...
Tror jag. De lär ju slänga 2 oavsett.
Jag gillar att gå för 2 här. Det är en så tight match. Liksom. Blir det till 1, då blir det en sån här gnetform 0. Och svårt att försvara liksom mot.
Ja, vi spelar ju bra runt centrum.
Ja, alltså blir det 0 för oss så är inte det katastrof heller. Då måste ju de gå hårt för en poäng i nästa omgång. Då kan vi ju lätt få en 2 då eller lyckas 0.
Men ska de ha någon som helst chans på Stulen, då ska vi ha chans på 3. Så jag menar.
All but binary code on the scoreboard so far through 7 ends. Sweden playing Norway. Tied at 3 points each. And 3 ends to go. Haven't been too many opportunities at scoring 2. Teams have kind of equalized each other so far. Norway had a chance in the 7th to play a risky shot for 2. Didn't like any of their options. Went for the safe one to keep it tied. And we'll see Norway coming into the top 4 this time. Knowing it's the 8th end, knowing Sweden would probably want to try and score their 2 here. Of course, if Sweden scores here in the 8th, there's a good chance they'll have the hammer again in the 10th end and score again.
Jag tycker det känns som dynorna, alltså när man går med curlen, den ser ut att curla mer. Ja, det känns som man får tag i den nu liksom.
Sometimes you might see teams throw double center guards here without the hammer. Go for the steal.
Here we can see a lead comparison. 98% for Christopher Sundgren. And a 91 for Magnus Kåberg. But a 91 should be, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Those are both fantastic numbers.
Again, just not quite getting them online, Vågberg, and showing what we could say maybe the wrong side of the shot stone, leaving Sweden play the hit and roll towards the corner guard.
Bak 4. Bak 4, 10. Ja, kan gå lite rakt på fart. Linjen är fortfarande vid dock. Jag kör.
Would love to maybe move this Yellowstone a little bit. Just gets a tiny tap.
Leaving a good angle. Still about half buried around that center guard. Leaving that slash opportunity.
I'll actually see Norway just guarding here. Might think they would come in. Maybe try and corner freeze the red stone. Hoping to cross the center line with this one. Guard the red stone. It's not going to get there. Just hoping to at least bring the center guards level. That is at least something for Norway to come around later on.
Here at the second position, Rasmus at 77, Magnus at 71. Struggling a little bit this game, but no big misses, just little half shots if we want to get specific.
Looking to make the play on that red stone. That was what Norway was trying to take away from Sweden. I'll hit and roll off their own here. Getting pretty close. Red onto yellow, rolls that shooter to the wing, keeps them level. Very nice shot by Vrano.
Beautiful. Advantage for Norway, having two center guards up still, even though Sweden is lying 2 in the house. Still great coverage for them. They're able to get a good one around here. Just freeze on the top. Really great shot.
Let's take a look at Switzerland again, tied at 7 points each. A bit more high scoring than our feature game. Lots of 2s, 3s, and even a 4 on the scoreboard as Skip Fester throws his last stone and draw to the button. Only for one, Korea lying shot stone might have even a little bit of a backing as the sweepers are not touching this one. Does it curl in time to catch that yellow? It does, and we'll just sit for one. 8-7 game for Switzerland. Did we just see a double peel from Sweden?
We did.
The cards are certainly gone. 2 red stones in the house. But Norway does have that pretty good frozen rock on the shot stone. Tough to remove for Sweden. That's why Norway will just be guarding it for now. might make a move later.
Yeah, they'll have to make a move eventually to push that Swedish stone out, but for now you want to delay that.
Yeah, make a move too early, then Sweden can always tidy up with lots of stones left.
Fortsätta klippa garden bara. Ja, ganska tjockt va? Ja, väldigt tjockt på båda händer. Ja, ja, tjockt där. Ja.
Here we have the comparisons at the third position. 84 and 82. Pretty close comparisons, but Oscar struggling a little bit with the hits this game.
Can't say he's only had easy hits to make, though.
That's true.
Been some run backs, doubles and triples attempted.
And tough slashes. That's true.
Yeah, I believe he started the game with a quarter rock slash run on the wide on the wing, which was almost made. And it's a timeout called by Norway here. So they'll have a chance to talk to their coach, but also stop the clock.
Her så det fort blank eller force. Jeg vet ikke hvordan jeg skal klare å få en stjerning ut av det.
Eller ikke garden.
Ja, altså det var jævlig tøft, så kunne jeg gjort det liksom. Eventuelt litt vinkel mot den, men jeg tror litt off da, så ruller han dit, ikke sant?
Selv på siste stein, hvis du legger opp til at du får en tap der.
Ja, men da vil jeg gjerne ha en stein til der. Det er 3 valg, garden, den eller den. Du kan gjøre det også da, men den liker jeg minst, kanskje, i og med at det skjer hard her. Ja.
Det som frysende.
Da drar han 4-foten for 2 til slutt da. Ja.
Vi må gjøre det.
Ja, det
hvis vi drar hit nå, det er bare at det har så lite feilmargin da, på akkurat den.
Eventuelt på Steffens første da. Tipper han piler jo sikkert på nå.
Ja.
Han piler sikkert nå, og så kan vi dra frysen da.
Og så drar han hit, kanskje?
Ja, og så kan vi... Ja, kanskje. Det er ikke så lett heller da. Er han litt kort, så...
Liker det?
Eller ikke garden.
Ja.
Garden nå, og så gjør det på neste.
Ja.
Ok.
Yeah. As is always in a timeout, discussing a few different options. What we'll end up doing here is to throw a guard, expecting Sweden to peel it, and then throw a freeze on their own yellow. Do you like this, Alison? Is there something else you considered?
Again, I think it all depends on what your end goal is. I think for Norway, having a steal here in this end would be huge. You definitely do not want to give Sweden a 2-pointer here. So you need to be a little bit cautious. I think by throwing the guard, you're kind of delaying any, well, don't know quite the word for it, any of the high hard ones kind of coming through and just clearing everything up.
Well, Sweden will probably have a think as well. They'll look over to Alexei Timofeyev with his last stone for Russia, and they're trailing by 1 playing Germany. But with a chance to draw in and score 3. Klimov and Rajabov on the sweep, trying to bring this in for their skipper. 2 yellows in there already, and this one will find its way to the forfeit. 3 points for Russia, as they'll take a 7-5 lead after 8 ends.
Ja, det är bara en bak 4-fart.
Yeah, and with that slight over curl with the guard, so Sweden's actually going to be able to just throw a back four-ish kind of weight and juggle it around. You want to keep a bit of an angle on it. Push the red rock into the back a little bit so that the yellow stone would go free on the next shot. There's going to be no jamming possibility. Just juggling things around a little bit to get the angles in your favor.
That's it. Half frozen on that yellow, but kind of over curls. Didn't want to sandwich that yellow between the reds.
Yeah, they're really trying hard to keep the line and hold it on the high side, but angle's not in their favor now. We got a skip comparison. 80 for Nicholas and 77 for Stefan.
Han fikk ikke sånn kjempefin kurve han nå, liksom. Det er ikke så lett å komme opp med seg. Ja, det er innen. Så må vi prøve.
Jeg tror det går, altså.
Ja.
Yeah, these are definitely lower numbers than we're used to seeing for those two. Nicholas earlier this afternoon shooting a whopping 95%.
Here is Sodoja. Skip up China. Down by 3, playing Italy. Looking to pick up a couple of points, close the score line. Trying to turn this game around. Flying 1, draw for 2, into the forfeit, no problems there. And it's a 5-6 game, Italy still up by 1. Seems like Norway's playing a similar shot to what Sweden just attempted. A little bit of a tap on the stones here. Try and bring that red shot stone back a tad. Not easy to gauge if they were happy or not with that one. It's kind of,
Need to get a bit closer, see the angles.
Lite risk att mycket kommer få frysen här. Ja, om man inte nuddar den på vägen. Mycket kommer den här draga. Ganska mycket, men den kommer röra sig ditåt. Det är bra om den på locket försvinner. Jag tror vi skickar ner den här, va? Ja. Jag gillar det. Ja. Yes. Lite utsida då.
Surprise, surprise. Sweden's going to play a run back.
Vecka till ringen liksom.
Thinking they can run this center guard back onto the top yellow in the house. Essentially go yellow, yellow, red, yellow. See if both the yellows in the house disappear and if they can stick a couple of reds in there.
Jag tror vi inte kommer vecka så långt. Om jag ska få ut den så kommer vi ligga kvar ganska centralt.
They were discussing too those top 2 stones, whether or not there's going to be drag effect.
Thinking that the top red might pull a little bit towards the Norwegian second stone in the forfeit. Potentially line 3 with the perfect hit here. Well, it's easy to draw it up. It's another thing to actually pull it off. What's he got here? Well, quite a bit, actually. Leaves 3 reds in the house. I think he hit it pretty much where they wanted to.
Seems pretty pleased with it.
He's hoping to maybe squeeze that last yellow out in the open a wee bit. Actually end up dragging the yellow kind of onto the shot stone.
But it does leave that the other red stone perfectly guarded underneath.
What is clear is no stone is safe playing Sweden. I'll get to that stones one way or the other, so much better coming into the house.
Yeah, you don't want to leave one lonely little yellow in there with 3 other Swedish counters in the rings.
Thinking to play the corner freeze on the red stone and the top 4. Said half checked. I would guard the yellow shot stone. Also potentially take away a play on the red. Seeing that the line's most important here, of course. Even if you leave this top 12, just guard the yellow. Make it a lot more difficult for Sweden. Lots of reds in the house. Don't make this one. Sweden could score big. Got to be there. Oh, will it get there? Pretty much. That's pretty good there. It doesn't get fully frozen. I believe Tuxas, tiny piece behind the guard, can't make the double on the yellows directly. There's definitely a run back. There is always a run back.
Ser vi att den håller på att kalla över så får vi exakt snärten, så kan vi få in den på skotten också. Ja. Så.
Ja, det är för samma. Jag tänkte
här är lite större risk att tappa 2 på också. Ja, den här är bra. Ja.
So are they running this onto the yellows, double them off, or onto the red and clip it in for 1?
I was actually hoping you had heard something a little clearer. I know that they went back and forth on it a little bit.
Why not go for the big one?
Yeah, I think that they're trying for the yellow one because there's no risk of giving up a bundle as opposed to trying to go for your red, but doesn't look like he...
Just a little bit wide, and that's a steal for Norway. You know, tiny bit wider, it could have been 2, but that's a huge steal for the Norwegians, and the 8th end to lead. 4-3, 2 ends to go in this one.
Nei, egentlig ikke. Vi kunne ha switchet litt før, så det blitt enda bedre kanskje.
Ja, kanskje. Men samtidig, hvis den ikke har vært der, så har han ikke prøvd den rollen.
Vi kommer til å gå hardt for poeng. Det kan vi utnytte på en god dag.
Ja.
1-1 og en gard eller 2-1?
Nei, vi legger 2 centergarder da, gutter.
Jeg synes 5,5-6 og 3-gard, synes jeg. Sånn akkurat nok avstand til at de ikke kan rulle inn i huset. Ja, jeg ser det også.
Yeah, you get a lot of curling for your money. and the Orleans Arena. 4 games going on at the same time for almost every session of the round robin. But our eyes are mainly focused on Norway, Sweden. It's been a very close-fought game so far through 8 ends. We only had singles, forces, and a blank until Norway stole 1 in that 8th end to take an advantage on Sweden. But it's still only the 1-point deficit. 4-3 game for the Norwegians. Norway actually coming into the rings. And Sweden happy to play the hit. Well, interesting.
I think they're happy to go for the blank here then and try their luck for a 2-pointer coming into the last end.
Yeah, well, I didn't see the call for Norway. If they were looking to throw the center or not. You'd think maybe throw a center guard and try and force Sweden to 1. Be tied coming home, huge advantage. See the time clocks. No huge hurry for Sweden with 6 minutes, especially not now, seeing how this end is panning out.
Sweden has also not taken their timeout, which would enable them for 1 minute talking time with their coach.
I'd certainly think that Norway wanted to force Sweden to take a 1, even if they give away 2. They're 1 down with Hammer coming home, which is quite favourable for many teams, and clearly so for Sweden, because that's what they're playing for here. They're playing for the blank. They'll take that, be 1 down with Hammer. They'll trust their ability to score 2 with their last one advantage.
Well, they've been close to taking 2s before this game, so try their luck in the 10th. Of course, if you were to just take 1, go into the extra end, you would need to steal, but giving yourself 2 opportunities.
Well, statistically, there's a slight advantage to being 1 up. That's for all teams. Could be a different story for one specific team. I haven't looked into Edin's stats, but I'm sure he knows what they prefer and what they do best. Now Norway rolling out, they'll think about throwing a corner. They'll actually call it. And we'll take a look over to one wacky game so far. Switzerland up 8-7 on Korea. But this could be a chance for Kim Chang-min to score big.
Yes! Whoa! Yeah!
Looking to kill 2 Swiss Rocks here for a big score. Is it there? 1, 2. That second red will fly as well. And that's going to be 4. Another 4 for Korea in this game to go 11-8 after 8 ends of play. This is going to be close to a record for high-scoring games.
I would say so.
At least for the past few World Championships, haven't seen that high scoring of a game in a while. Still 2 ends in that one.
There hasn't been many 3s on the board, let alone 4s.
Well, we haven't seen many of those in our game. Only singles, 1 steal, that's all we've had, but it's been quite enjoyable to watch. Just on the opposite sides of scales, really. The Switzerland-Korea game and our Norway-Sweden one. We've had quite a few stones in play for pretty much all the ends. Just been able to force each other back and forth, but this 9th end, a blank from the very start. And it will be up to Edin really to throw the last one, make sure Sweden carries the hammer over into the 10th end. Pretty routine shots for the teams. At the same time, you want to take your second to focus. Don't want to slip up with a big miss here. Could be crucial.
Did I just hear out-turn floater?
There's a little joke between Nadine and Høiberg. That is, there's some truth to that joke. We have seen Stefan Wallstad float a few out-turn. I don't see him missing the stone altogether. So see just with the one sweeper now, lead Vågberg. Taking his time to freshen up, get ready for the final end. And that sweeper, second sweeper not needed, as he does in fact roll out on the out-turn.
Well, Magnus has a lot of practice in just being a single sweeper, with also competing in mixed doubles.
We'll actually see Sweden just throw this one through the rings. Not even going to care to play the draw.
Nope. Should you ever come a little bit short, maybe leave some sort of guard opportunity a little deep, might as well just toss it through.
Yeah, even if you put that, you know, top 12, Norway could consider coming around it.
Absolutely.
Saying, well, we will take that risk to force you, and if you take two, you know, we'll be the team one down with hammer. You know, we've seen that before. So Norway just having the chance to throw this anywhere into the rings. So Sweden and Niklas Edin will look to play the hit. Roll out, blank to send. Keep last on advantage. Looks pretty good here. A blank on the board. Still a 4-3 game for Norway. We have one more end, if not two, here in the Orleans Arena.
Vi får prøve. Dra inn.
5,5-6. Og så 2,5.
Innan opp, da. Spiller fireren først. Innan opp, spiller fireren først.
Okay.
Den är bra. Har plats.
One more end to go here as Norway plays Sweden. It's Norway with a 1-point lead here in Orleans Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. only single points being scored throughout the game. The only real standout so far is the steal Norway had in the 8th end. Gave them the advantage, but it's pretty much a coin flip right here. And Sweden has the last on advantage, throwing up the corner guard, looking to score 2 and win the game right here.
So far, great corner guard placement. Norwegian stone slipping a little bit too deep if we're going to get a little picky, but just looking to throw up a center guard now.
Linja grei. Magnus må gå litt på slutten. Litt lenger enn kosen. Køll opp den. Ja, spill.
And it will do the trick, so Sweden opting to come around and freeze on the top. Looking to set something up for the future shots. Make that yellow a little bit more accessible. Those absolutely beautiful stones.
Taking a look at China, Italy. It is Amos Mozaner with his favorite shot, the upweight takeout. Trying to spill some Chinese counters here to score. Will get the double. Look at that. That is 5 points for Italy, 11-5. And that is the final score as well. China giving in. What a shot by Mozaner. Well, no wonder it's his favorite shot. He can make him all day.
Not to mention, fun to play. Gotta feel good after that one. Talking about high score before. That 5 on the board, that's got to be a first for the competition. No 5s so far, as far as I'm aware. They are not very common at all, especially at a world championship.
I believe the biggest score so far is a 4-pointer. Of course, we saw a couple of them as well this evening. Korea picked up a couple of 4s so far.
Energard. Hva vil du garde? Rett foran egen gul.
Rasmus was attempting to come down and sit on that yellow stone, but a little light and just kind of rubs that top guard as well, but did not have the legs to get there.
Well, that's okay. One of many nicknames for Las Vegas is capital of second chances.
Is it?
It is indeed.
Wow. How fitting.
Er det plass? Må kjøre det. Wow, det er over. Ok, men må kjøre det. Markus nærmest. En. Linja kjempe seg. Må kjøre det masse. Linja er bra. Linja er bra. Kom over. Hard.
Wow. That one doesn't make it over the hog line.
Oh my.
Tried too hard to throw the long guard.
Yeah, thought process of wanting that maximum separation between the stones, but that is a huge mistake.
Ja, corner och 2 i bot. Bara de här går inte ut liksom. Ja. Okej. Vad gillar ni? Om man kollar nu, Ralle. Vi kan ta en timeout där också, får vi diskutera lite. Time.
Timeout called by Sweden. Nicholas saying, might as well talk this over a bit.
De där 3 i bot ligger ju bra tycker jag.
Medan det är bakom
bara corner
det är
också.
den gula frysningen som är problemet, men det är ju ganska lätt för oss att slå på det.
Han är runda cornern också.
Men då vill man inte ha garderna där. Man vill ju liksom få in något mot cornern.
Absolut optimalaste stenen kanske
allt härifrån.
är ifall man skulle ta den här och få en touch på den nere i bot.
Ja, den pratar vi om. Den är ju väldigt tunn. Råkar man ta in sidan röd, då är det risk att man stägar upp det liksom. Då lägger man hög på det.
Tanke är det värdelöst runda cornern. Visst, de kanske lägger en ny gard här, men då har man den rackaren där.
Ja.
Jag
det
tycker
jag
det känns
gillar är att
svårt
det inte
att få
går att skicka
loss.
röd, för gul blir då kvar liksom. Det är gul gard lite grann som är. Man skulle kunna skicka en hård och trippla ut det där, håller på att säga också, men
röd försvinner också.
Då har vi 3 garder, alla våra.
Alltså, det är inte
Vi behöver bara
överdrivet
göra en bra
tunt
rundning liksom för att få
för att få touchen. Och skulle jag bara dubbla dem så ligger vi inte dåligt.
Ja, om du bara tar gul och vickar en ganska vid corner där också. Det är ingen problemsten egentligen än så länge.
Lägger väl en ny gard här då.
Ja.
Ja, jag tänkte det också, röda med.
Ja, fast det är topp 4-stenen som är problemet liksom. Ja, fast lämna en tight, bra centergard och en topp 4-sten med våran som rygg bakom 10. Det är inte fantastiskt tycker jag.
Så det slår gul tunt, eller runda cornern, eller skicka ner den.
Alltså, jag gillar att slå centern.
Om man drar den hit, då, vad gör han då? Högard igen.
Det blir så dåligt vinklat för oss bara.
Ja.
Okay.
Det blir så dåligt drag, det dragar så mycket.
Tiden kommer igång nu.
Ja. Alltså,
Om man skulle gå på dubbeln här, vilka corner, eller ta den ovansida där.
Det är för tungt, vi rullar av om vi gör den.
Nej, skjuta ner den alltså menar han.
Aha.
spela en lite mjukare då.
Jag gillar att ta den där, försöka få den. Tar vi lite tjock, bara bort med den och en till rackare här liksom. Vi har ganska mycket
tänker vi en 11 eller?
Ja, för då kommer den här kunna fastna bakom
11,
den också.
vi behöver inte få den och mer än hit liksom.
Nej, precis. Alltså, tar man riktigt tunt så kan vi stanna ovanför bot också.
Nej.
Ja, 11.
Ja.
El 11-0 kanske ändå.
11-0 sa han nu.
11-0. Ändå blir det 8 var 11-3. Ändå sticker och rullar bakom corner.
Okay, so a lot of discussion here. Looks like they're playing a controlled weight double, but kind of looking to tap their own guard into the house and keep the shooter as a corner guard. That's what I've made of it.
Yep, that's what I made of it too. Just trying to hit that one thin and do exactly that. Maybe a little far.
That's more or less what they wanted. Two red stones in the house for Germany as Russia is looking to make the draw to win this game. They're up by 1. It has a bit of backing on the red shot stone here. They have the line looking pretty good coming in. And that shot is made by Alexei Timofeev. It's a 8-6 win for Russia. They beat Germany.
Magnus, är det klar?
Ja, jag är 3. Bra spel, bra där.
Center guard back up by Norway.
Känns som att komma ner med någon täpfart. Bara täppa ner en frys på locket så vi lägger skottet.
Jag gillar det.
Ja.
Det tycker jag är jättebra.
Och liksom hamna i klykan här mellan dem.
Ja,
Man täppar en fot. Ja.
So those are the scores in Orleans Arena. We saw Italy picking up the win against China, Russia winning over Germany. So it's only Switzerland, Korea still ongoing. Switzerland scoring a 2 back. So it's pretty close there, 11-10.
So Sweden just looking to tap up those stones just a foot. They don't want to move it too much, but they want their red to be sitting shot stone. A little bit more of a top than I think they had discussed, but not a bad result.
Ha lite fart framåt. Lite båge på den. Det är bra det.
Nej, helt kan man sitta där. Så länge på insidan, få ut den där och komma och slippa insidan. Är inte det bra?
Jo. Det är väl bedraget liksom.
Ja, det är sant.
Første tanken min var egentlig dra avstand, men eller innan for så vidt.
Ja, nå kan han...
Må vi få bort.
Han får brukt den her da, til å komme til den.
Ja, det er sant.
Så hvis du klarer å få ut den.
Ja, jeg er enig med
deg. Og det første holdet.
Vant, eller?
Så bare håret på innsida optimalt, så rulles jo på linje med hele greia. Men jeg tror heller ruller for lite enn for langt.
Nok fart til å dra på din bakste i hvert fall.
Ja. Eller få han ut av 8-foten i hvert fall.
Spiller vant, eller? For jeg er sikker.
Vant er fint.
Discussing two calls here. It's either freezing their own yellow, but realizing that Sweden could potentially play a big weight at those two reds and get to their Yellowstone top 4. So they're going to try and play a little hit and roll off of those two frozen reds, remove the back one, and roll right on top.
Rent. Rent.
Oh, this one all of a sudden curling on them. Just past the guard. But rolls too far. But does tap the yellow up to be just dead frozen now on the shot stone. I'll take it.
Känns kanske just nu som man gör den
Först
där.
drar så drar den liksom.
Den här tar inte väl. Vi har ju alltid den i och för sig. Om vi dubblar de andra två vicka bakom cornern då, vad gör han då? Jag tror att han slår vicka in en till där. Ja, det är sant. Det var ingenting. Ja, dragning på locket. Ja. Absolut. Jag tror jag gillar den här faktiskt. Även om vi vickar in i egen så lägger man med vinkel för att det ska draga fast där. Okay. Har man lite tunt och rör på det så borde man väl fastna sen också. Ja, och då ligger vi ändå typ snedfryst och den här kanske ändå är skottet bak 4. Det är okej då. Ja, jag gillar den. Vicka in där. Kanske... Vilken fart? Ja. 10 tror jag. Egentligen bara träffen. Försöka få tjock halv. Okej.
Han skulle nudda paketet så lossar den lite så.
Nudda paketet är bra då. Ja. 10. Lite tunn halv i så fall. Bra fart.
Hit and roll is the call for Sweden. Huge sweep to try and hold the line on this one. Just look at the roll on top, ends up chipping out their own shot stone, but it's frozen.
For second shot.
That certainly changes things a bit.
Ja, men jeg vet ikke hvordan vil det. Vil hos deg? Tror du hvordan vil det?
Ja.
Jeg tar 2 slag for han å få ut den og
Samme. Ja, det samme stein, ja.
Like.
Marginalene selvsagt å komme seg inn der, for oss vil ikke sitte igjen.
Nei, du er ikke inntrykk på den der.
Så det er marginalen.
Det er like mye da. Ja.
Treffer 1/4, så ligger det jo ok, tror jeg.
Ja.
Men jeg prøver å treffe halv med vant. Ikke det?
Jo.
Om nå så er det kanskje maks, eller du fikk jo køl der da.
Jeg køller bra.
Ja. Og må forbi.
Ja, absolutt.
Kan jeg dra dit nå da?
Tenkte jeg egentlig også, men...
Klarer han å stikke den her?
Looking on, discussing. Wonder if they're agreeing with what's going on the ice.
Vil du på stedet, eller? Hvis du vil at jeg skal?
Må masse være... Ja, du kan jo skli av litt da.
Unfortunately for them, they've already called their timeout.
Ikke så er det der.
Ja. Absolutt myt. Hva skal han gjøre det? Kanskje en spill av...
Spill av den for å sitte shot.
Ja. shot, og så har vi sannsynligvis hele en på garden.
Så kan vi pile den av der, og så drar den for én.
Enten her, eller ja, dra dit.
Eller så drar vi hit. Hvis vi dytter en dit, så spiller en inn-offensiv 2, så skal vi ikke dytte, da.
Nei, ikke så mye.
Men nå skal vi stoppe litt kort. Da kanskje ha en frys igjen oppå der.
Ja. Eller så får han dyttet han ut, da.
Ja, men da den her.
Ja, men da har han 3 på rekke og rad.
Hva liker du, Magnus?
Jeg liker den første goalen din, egentlig. Men hvis du følger mest for å dra, så liker jeg den best. Jeg synes ikke det er så stor forskjell.
Ikke heller.
Jeg liker egentlig å dra. Da drar vi.
Jeg på det.
Jeg liker begge like mye. Jeg liker begge like mye.
Gjerne bedre enn den.
Well, let's pop on over to sheet A, 10th end. Switzerland lying 2. So Kim Chang-min essentially facing the game here. Miss the rings, lose the game. Get the 8-foot, get the extra end, get the forfeit though, you win it.
Pass på at vi ikke switcher for tidlig. Den drar seg fint når den kommer nærmere. Det er jo ikke noe krise på oss inne.
The sweep early here. Not letting off this one. Maximum effort all the way. Never stopping. And even the Vice out to help. Can they bring this far enough? Definitely past the first red. Oh, what happened there? It's a fall, and that stone is kicked and burnt. Wow. That might just be the loss right there. We will might have to come back to that one. Kind of depends on Switzerland's decision. That is quite rare.
Oh my gosh. You got to feel for Korea.
Well, let's come back to that one to see what happens. As we saw Norway discussing either hit and roll or just a draw, and they have played the draw. It's made.
Jag tror vi vill ligga kvar lite på fyrfoten ändå om det går. Ja, vi behöver ändå trycka den här 3 sten. Ja. Tror hack behövs. Ja. Hack. Ja. Lite mjuk hack. Ja. Hack. Hack. Hård. Hård. Wow.
Coming after the shot stone here, Sweden will tap it out. So Sweden again with shot stone.
Lying first and third at the moment.
Du ser 25 av den. Ja.
Det er som at den spinner kanskje for å gi den en dobbel der, da.
Able to see a quarter of that stone.
Ja. Og skal han pile på andre siden, da? Er det hack, det her?
Hvis du piler her, da.
Nei, han kommer til å spille...
Ja, men hvis det er pile her?
Ja. Nå er han foran her for 2, da.
Nå blir det for dårlig tid. Ja, det gjør han.
45!
Ja.
45 seconds on the clock.
Vi liker callen.
Ja. Jeg spiller 8,5.
Okay.
Kan finne på kølen 30 sikkert.
Ja.
8,5.
Okay.
Ja.
Just looking to
Du må treffe så sykt som mulig for å få toeren.
catch a piece of their own yellow here with big weight.
Ja.
God tid. Sånn.
Saying catch this as thick as possible to spin that yellow a little bit closer so they can sit 2. If they don't, Sweden can get to the backstone for the win. They can also catch this thin and maybe get the double that way on the reds. Let's see. Does get it thin to get that second red going. Thought that was also always a pretty decent option. Might leave a double back for Sweden though. And
And it all comes down to this.
While that's happening, just can't confirm. Decision was made. Switzerland got the 2 points and stole the game. So an amazing 12-11 victory through 10 ends of play. And of course, shocking moment for Korea, kicking that stone over, which certainly looked good enough for at least an extra end. But, you know, if you can't keep on your feet, that's just what happens.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that's not a way you want to lose or a way you want to win.
No.
So neither team is going to be satisfied with that result.
It did happen to Sweden once. Kristoffer Sundgren at the European Championships did actually fall over, kick a last stone for Sweden. Hopefully that won't happen here.
No commentator curse.
Looking to double these reds to win the game. Sweden down by 1. 1 point for the extra. 2 points or more for the win, but it does jam. And it's a steal of 1 for Norway. And that's the victory for the Norwegians as well. Very good game from both sides. It's been close fought all the way through. Only singles on the board. It was a steal of 1 for Norway in the 8th to change the momentum just a tiny bit. And they win it here, 5-3. That is Sweden's first loss at this edition of the World Championship, which means there are no teams still undefeated. Sweden was the last one before the session. Norway the first team to able to take them down. We'll get some highlights and get a few words in with winning skip Stefan Valstad, as that is now this session over. All the games coming to a conclusion. Let's go back, take a look at the highlights from this game. 7th end. Norway having a huge think about maybe going for 2 in the end, choosing the safer option, just drawing for their 1. That draw is made to tie this game up. 3 points each. Well, in the 8th end, a good corner freeze by Norwegian skip Stefan Valstad. Niklas Edin of Sweden looking to run this back for a multiple score, or at least 1, but throws it a bit high, leaves Norway stealing one to take a 4-3 lead. A blank in the 9th end takes us to 10. Norway lying 2. Dean hoping to sneak past the guard, get the double to win the game. Just waiting for this one to curl, urging it over. But it's just not going to get there in time. Jams it. It's a steal again for Norway to win the game. Be the first team to beat Sweden so far here at the World Championship in Las Vegas. 5-3 final. So those are all the scores for this session 11 this evening in the Orleans Arena. Switzerland with a whopping 12-11 win over Korea after a kicked stone on the last rock for Korea. 11-5 for Italy over China. There's also a 8-6 win for Russia over Germany. And of course, Norway taking that win over Sweden. So that is how the teams stack up so far. We've seen Norway and Sweden on top at 6 wins, 1 loss. Could be a huge win for Norway as they now have the head-to-head record over Sweden. But of course, Canada and Scotland with 1 game less at 5-1 could very well join them at the top. 6 teams will go through to the playoffs, still a chance for most of the teams in it. And we'll have a chat with Stefan Wallstand.
Congratulations on a fantastic win. Could you take me through that last end?
I don't know what to say, but yeah, it was well played from our team, and we were able to lock up the forefoot somehow there, so that's good.
Some familiar faces playing against Niklas Edin. Do you guys have any specific strategy or key to the game when playing against him?
Just play well, I guess. Like usually they're a notch better, so we just have to make each start shot as good as we can, and then hope for the best.
Few missed opportunities in that game. What will you take going into the next?
I think just trying to continue doing what we're doing, and that's about it.
Thank you, and congrats.
Thank you.
Well, that is all the coverage we have from the Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada this evening. We're quite happy to bring it to you. Hope you enjoyed watching. Lots more curling action left though here at the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018.